At 2:07 in the morning, Daniel Carter opened his hotel room door and found the last person in the world he expected to see. Standing in the hallway, Victoria Bennett, his boss. She was barefoot, her expensive heels dangling from one hand, her dark hair slightly messy. And for the first time since Daniel had known her, she looked completely lost. She glanced down the empty hallway before meeting his eyes. "Can I come in?" she whispered. "We need to talk." Daniel froze. For 5 years, he had built his life around avoiding complicated situations. As a single father raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, he couldn't afford scandals, rumors, or anything that might threaten the job that paid their bills. And Victoria Bennett was the CEO of the company that employed him. A woman who could make executives twice her age nervous with a single look. Yet tonight, she wasn't acting like a billionaire CEO. She looked like someone who had run out of places to hide. Daniel opened the door wider. "Victoria. What happened?" She stepped inside. "Something happened tonight," she said quietly. "And I don't know who else I can trust." Daniel closed the door. Outside, rain tapped against the windows of the hotel. And somewhere far below, a car horn echoed through the empty streets. He had no idea that before sunrise, everything he believed about his boss, and about himself, would change. The business conference had been held in Chicago. And Daniel had spent the entire day moving between meetings, presentations, and phone calls. He had almost skipped the trip. Lily had a school recital the following afternoon. And Daniel hated being away from her. Before leaving home, he promised her he would be back in time. "Daddy, you're coming, right?" Lily had asked. Of course. She had hooked her little finger around his promise. Promise. That promise was the only thing on Daniel's mind when he arrived at the hotel. Then, shortly after midnight, he received a message from the babysitter. Lily had a fever. Not dangerously high, but enough to make Daniel's heart race. He immediately called home. Lily answered on the second ring. "Daddy." Her voice was weak. "Hey, sweetheart. Are you coming home?" Daniel closed his eyes. "First thing in the morning." "You promised." "I know." There was a pause. "I miss you." Daniel swallowed hard. "I miss you too." When the call ended, Daniel sat alone in the dark hotel room, staring at his daughter's picture on his phone. He felt like he was failing her. Then came the knock. 3 soft knocks. And Victoria appeared. Daniel motioned toward the chair. "Sit down." She did. For several seconds, neither spoke. Finally, Victoria looked at him. "Do you remember the charity foundation our company runs?" "Of course. Tonight I discovered someone has been stealing from it." Daniel's expression changed. "How much?" "Almost $4 million. He stared at her. $4 million. She nodded. And the money wasn't being stolen through some complicated overseas account. It was being moved through a series of employee assistance programs. Daniel's stomach tightened. Employee assistance. Victoria looked directly at him. Programs designed to help employees during emergencies. Daniel understood immediately. People who actually needed the money. Yes. Her voice cracked. Medical bills. Rent after fires. Food for families who couldn't afford groceries. Scholarships for employees' children. Daniel stood. "Who did it?" "I don't know." "Then why are you here?" Victoria looked down at her hands. "Because your name is connected to the transactions." Silence. Daniel felt as if the floor had disappeared beneath him. "My name. Your employee ID was used to authorize several transfers." "That's impossible." "I know." He stared at her. "Then why are you telling me?" "Because the board wants to suspend you tomorrow morning." Daniel's face went pale. "Suspended? They believe you were involved." He laughed bitterly. "Of course they do." Victoria's eyes softened. "I don't. Daniel looked at her. Then why not? Because I've watched you. The words surprised him. For 5 years, she continued. I've watched you arrive early, leave late. Turn down promotions because they required more travel. And spend your lunch breaks calling your daughter. Daniel said nothing. You once used your own bonus to help an employee keep his apartment. Daniel looked away. That was different. No. It wasn't. Victoria leaned forward. You give away things you can't afford to give away. Daniel smiled sadly. That's what being a father teaches you. Victoria's expression changed. For the first time, Daniel noticed tears in her eyes. That's why I came here. She pulled a small flash drive from her pocket. I need your help. Daniel stared at it. What is that? Evidence. She placed it on the table. I found these files hidden inside an old company server. Someone has been manipulating records for months. Why not give them to the police? Because I don't know who inside the company is involved. Daniel frowned. And you think I can figure it out? I think you're the only person I know who won't be tempted by money. He looked at the flash drive. Victoria, I'm a single dad, not a detective. I know. She smiled faintly. That's exactly why I trust you. For the next 2 hours, they worked. Daniel connected the drive to his laptop and began examining transaction records. At first, nothing made sense. Then he noticed something. The stolen funds had all been moved within minutes of legitimate assistance payments. Someone wasn't simply stealing money. They were copying real transactions and changing the destination accounts. Daniel leaned closer. Look. Victoria stepped beside him. What? These transfers were approved at exactly 11:43 p.m. every Thursday. Victoria frowned. That can't be right. It is. Daniel opened another file. Who has access to the system at that time? Victoria began listing names. Finance Director. Internal Audit. IT Administrator. Me. Daniel shook his head. Not you. How do you know? Because you were at the awards dinner every Thursday this month. Victoria stared at him. You're right. Daniel continued scrolling. Then he stopped. His face went still. What? He pointed at the screen. The system administrator. Victoria's eyes widened. Mark. Her chief financial officer. The man who had worked beside her for 11 years. The man she trusted completely. Daniel nodded. But there's something else. He opened the employee assistance records. The stolen money wasn't sitting in some offshore account. It had been transferred into a private investment company. And the owner of that company was Mark's brother. Victoria covered her mouth. Oh my God. Daniel leaned back. Now you have your answer. But Victoria wasn't smiling. She looked devastated. 11 years, she whispered. Daniel closed the laptop. You trusted him. I trusted everyone. She looked at him. That's the problem. Daniel understood. She had spent her life building an empire. But somewhere along the way, she had forgotten how to trust people without a contract between them. You don't have to carry everything alone, Daniel said. Victoria looked at him. What? You hurt me. She blinked rapidly. Why are you being kind to me? Daniel shrugged. Because you're a person. The simplicity of the answer broke something inside her. Victoria looked away as tears finally fell. My father used to say that people only want something from you when they're being nice. Daniel shook his head. Your father was wrong. She looked back at him. Was he? My daughter once asked me why I help strangers when I barely have enough for us. What did you tell her? Daniel smiled. I told her that kindness isn't something you wait to afford. Victoria stared at him. That might be the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. Before Daniel could respond, his phone rang. The babysitter. His heart jumped. He answered immediately. Hello. Daniel, I'm sorry. Lily's fever went up. He stood. How high? About 103. Daniel's face drained of color. I'm coming home. He grabbed his jacket. Victoria immediately stood. I'll take you. You don't have to. I know. She picked up her shoes. But I'm coming anyway. They rushed downstairs. Victoria had her driver take them to the airport, but when they arrived, Daniel discovered the earliest flight was delayed for several hours. He looked helplessly at the departure board. My little girl needs me. Victoria pulled out her phone. Get us a car. Victoria, what are you doing? Driving. You can't drive through the night. I can. It's 4 hours. She looked at him. Then we'd better leave. They drove through the darkness. For 4 hours. The billionaire CEO sat behind the wheel while a tired single father slept in the passenger seat, holding his phone against his chest. At sunrise, they arrived. Daniel rushed inside. Lily was curled beneath a blanket. Daddy. He dropped beside her. She wrapped her arms around his neck. I knew you'd come. Daniel closed his eyes. I promised. From the doorway, Victoria watched silently. Lily noticed her. Who is she? Daniel smiled. This is Victoria. She helped Daddy get home. Lily studied the woman. Then she smiled. Thank you. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. You're welcome. Lily reached for her hand. You can stay if you want. Victoria laughed softly. I'd like that. 3 weeks later, Mark was arrested. The missing money was recovered. And every employee whose assistance had been stolen received their funds back. But Victoria made a change that surprised everyone. She created a new foundation with one rule. No employee facing hardship would ever have to beg for help. And Daniel was asked to help run it. He accepted, but only if Victoria promised something. What? She asked. That you stop trying to solve every problem yourself. She smiled. I'll try. And take a vacation once in a while. Don't push your luck. Daniel laughed. Months later, Lily performed in her school recital. Daniel sat in the front row. Beside him was Victoria. When Lily finished singing, she ran straight toward them. She hugged her father first. Then she hugged Victoria. See? Lily whispered to her. Victoria smiled. See what? You don't have to be alone anymore. Victoria looked at Daniel. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Daniel smiled. The woman who had once believed kindness always came with a price had finally discovered something money could never buy. Sometimes, the greatest act of humanity isn't saving someone from disaster. Sometimes, it's simply standing beside them in the middle of it and saying, you don't have to face this alone.